Hello guys, how are you doing this Saturday here? And I haven't been in front of the screen until yesterday, so the daily updates and the Twitter recap I was not able to do. Therefore, I will do the Twitter update today. So again, here the charts is like three days old, so keep that in mind. As always, guys, I'm just trying to show you what I see on Twitter and what I find interesting, and I will give my personal take on it here. As always, follow me here on YouTube and on Twitter, and also on the Substack, where we go into a lot more detail with regarding to gold, to silver, platinum, oil, and trying to make the best of it in these difficult times, because it is very difficult actually. But Twitter here will have to see what charts has been shown here, basically. Again, I don't have a lot. I think I have like 8 or 10. Again, I was not home for like 2 days. That's why. Trend spider here with the IWM. That is the small cap, the Russell small cap, divided by the SPY. Revenge of the small caps. You can see here this goes back roughly 4 years, falling. Wedge here again with 3 impulses, lower lows, beautiful, and a breakout there with huge momentum in the past 2 weekly candles. Clearly, the small caps are in favor of the SPY by looking at this. Great way of showing where to put your money if you were either going to put it into the Russell or the SPY. Clearly, the Russell is the better play. Even though a SPY might do well, but Russell will do better. Simon here. The really exciting chart is silver. I agree with that. The weekly shows us very healthy consolidation around the 30 to 32 area. I think we closed into the high 20s, but it is silver. It's very erratic. All moving averages and Bollinger Bands are moving upwards, supporting further significant advance in price. You can clearly see here. By the way, he has the 50, the 200 day here, and some very short-term moving averages. And what I like, and one of the best setups that I usually can find when they happen, is if you have the 50, the 100, and the 200 day, all within a Bollinger Band. In this case, going sideways, basically, squeezing up here. And either way we break, that's usually the start of a very, very long-term trend. This is the weekly, so this is the weekly Bollinger Band and the weekly moving averages. So this to me is the start of a massive, massive trend. And yes, he's pointing to 64, I think here. I agree, we are going to see 50 here, somewhat briefly, due to the amount of shorts in the system, the underinvestments, and basically the setup for silver looks incredible. The gold to silver ratio looks like it wants to plummet. Again here finally, silver looks amazing, even though people are already getting bored. But again, it sometimes it needs to rest, which it has done for like, I don't know, 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks. So I agree there with the Simon. Traded here on gold the 15 minutes. You can see here, this is a good exercise, you can say, the gold 15 minutes. So we are talking basically the entire July here. You can see the trend lines, that the angle are getting higher and higher. And at some point, it cannot keep going more vertical at some point in time. So that's the point in time where we are at the end of a trend. In this case, the 15 minute, looking back roughly 1 month here. It doesn't mean that gold is peaking, long term or anything. But again, on the 15-minute time frame, when you start to see these, kind of like parabolic move there on the short term, that is usually where we will see a pause in time, pulling back, all that good stuff. People will short it, and but overall, looking at the daily, the weekly, the monthly time frame, gold looks exceptional, just like silver does. So again, you can use these little. Again, it's very simple. Very simple TA, but that's good. It doesn't mean that it is bad. Very simple. Just you can see the angles are sloping up. So here at some point we are probably at the highs, and I don't know exactly where gold closed, but did it close down at 2,400, I think? So you can see that gold did pull back heavily after this move up there. So totally normal price behavior. Very clean chart. I like it. Trader here again with palladium. Oh, look who's back again. That's palladium again. A lot of text here, but you can clearly see that actually palladium is really trying to put in a bottom here. Little, disguised inverted head and shoulders there. But again, we are trying to break this. I think it's a trend line that goes back to 2020. And we have peaked above here, falling wedge, peaking above again. Clearly trying to make a move. Together with platinum, again, I think both of these metals, when they get above 1100, maybe a tad below, but 1100 for both these metals, platinum and palladium, that's when you want to be looking to add into the physical, the ETFs, or miners. The miners are showing some great strength here, and that's a good thing. So 1100, maybe a tad lower for both metals, should be where we finally start to see a leg up. Palladium has been killed from, I think, 3,700, 500 or so down to, roughly 800. Massive drop here. US retail sales is down here. You can see that whenever we have these sideways, we have the move, we have the sideways. That is also where the recession is hitting. Same thing here again in 2008. You had the move up, sideways, recession, move up, sideways. Yep, I think a recession will come at some point in time. It just depends on when the tens and twos, the rates, are going to uninvert. That is when you see the real crisis. And if you look at the ratio of the spread between the tens and twos, the amount of the length and the depth of the inversion hasn't been this extreme ever. So if that is the case, again, you're going to see a lot longer and a lot deeper recession if you were to look at that metric alone. That's not nice. That is not nice at all. Trader here again, I had a lot of chart with Trader here. Definitely follow him. He is putting out excuse me. He's putting out a lot of charts, great charts, nice description, definitely worth a follow in my opinion. Gold here, target noted, hit below. You can see these marginal higher highs. Again, that's usually not a good sign, where you have these marginal higher highs, and usually you start to come back in. And we did come back in here to roughly 2,400, if my memory serves me well, maybe a bit below it. I can't really remember. But again, that was the top there. I also know that Barrick did call that one as well. So a great little pattern there, 1 to 5 Elliott wave. So we need some consolidation here. But again, long term, weekly, monthly, gold is looking incredible. There's nothing wrong with gold, even though we might pull back $100, $200 from here. Hedgehog trader, Barrick Gold, divided by the SPY. You can see here that actually Barrick Gold finally, after this goes back 3 years, you can see it's trying to peak. Again, it's very early, so again, no clear signs yet. But if we can get a breakout, and then, with momentum, basically taking out these small highs over here, and then we will have the first pullback, and that's usually where you buy into the Barrick instead of the SPY here. So again, getting close, but no cigar just yet on this ratio. Odd height here. This is CCJ divided by NVIDIA. I assume, just 1 second, it's been a while. Is it just CCJ? No, excuse me, this is just Cameco and NVIDIA. Lockstep continues. Seems like a lot of AI and clean energy basket getting taken to the cleaners. Do people really need Republicans, really think Republicans are negative on nuclear? I don't agree. Me neither. By the way, for now, I just think this is very short term, only 3 days, and for now it has a correlation. Usually, I don't think there is a correlation between Cameco and NVIDIA. Maybe there are. I haven't checked, but you can clearly see that again. Sometimes the market is just, again, if the big tech sells off, everything else also sells off, and that was just a really negative day, especially for Cameco, which lost a lot of support. and we had basically 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of very good price action finally breaking out. That got undone in one day. That was nasty. Rock bottom entries. A massive important level was lost in the dollar. Again, 104 was also a level that I had very high interest into. SPY, QQ are down big today, and the dollar can't find a bid, with the VIX is up 10%. IVM is barely down. The market is still strong as hell. Yeah, overall, I mean, the long-term trends are up. We're just seeing a rotation of capital out of the overvalued tech, and GDX and SILJ are still strong. Yeah. I completely agree also with this little note here that the GDX and SIL, yes, it's down for the week, but overall all the big breakouts that was needed by the gold miners and silver miners has been done. And we are in a stage 2 weekly uptrend. Again, we're just consolidating here. It looks really good in my opinion, until shown otherwise, and we definitely haven't seen that. This is Sven here. The 1929 trend line says hi again. Great little commentary there. That was the peak and the huge collapse from, where the market just puked over, I don't know, 4 years. Ever since, this little range channel here, or this, it's basically squeezing just a tiny bit. Again, here we had the dot-com bubble. All right, and then you can just see here we had the 2008, and now we're attacking again. So according to this here, being in the SPY, yes, we can break to the upside. If that happens, it's usually a parabolic move, only to come down. But again, here, the odds favor the downside. I will say that again. The odds favor the downside until and if we can break the upper. But you have to respect it here and have a bearish sentiment here on the SPX. Again, it doesn't mean that we are going to turn tomorrow. These are yearly candles. So again, we can spend the time here for the next 2 years maybe, right? But again, until we break, the risk is to the downside. There's no question about that. Grady here. Can post this chart now, as I think it has turned inside the massive blue triangle for the last time. So this is basically the HUI, which is the gold buck index divided by XLE. We are going back to the 2000s. Very, not perfect, but again, very respected range here. Slightly contracting. Again, we are at the lows here. And yes, I do think you'll also actually note that there is a splitter there in the middle. But I do think we are on the verge of having that pendulum swing in the other direction in favor of the gold and silver, basically the precious metals market, when you measure it against energy. And by the way, during that period, I do think energy will do really well. They usually run in tandem. So that is also, you can see here, also we had the HUI do really well. But also here you had oil, uranium, nat gas just blasting to the upside. Same thing here again from the 2000s. This is also a period of where energies did really, really well. So again, this doesn't mean that XLE is going to have a rough time. It just means that I think XLE will do great. The chart is also great for XLE, but the HUI, which is the gold buck index, gold and silver, precious metals, will do better. And that's also why you see gold is looking really good, silver is looking really good. You can measure gold against inflation. It's about to break out, very close to at least. You have the GDX, the gold miners, the silver miners breaking out, like a few months ago. It's looking incredibly well here. Again, all of this from one chart alone. That is, this ratio. You can actually see and, conclude a lot of things. Not conclude because nothing is 100%, but you can get a really good grasp of where the gold market potentially is going. So yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Remember, some of the charts were most of the chart is actually four days old. So again, maybe some is outdated, but you can see these 1 yearly candles charts. Of course, they are not outdated by any means, or the Grady one here. Have an amazing day, guys. And we know you know where you can find me: Twitter, and YouTube, and the Substack at uselinkinv for all of them. Also, my good friend Danny from Capital Cosm will release a recording that I did with him on YouTube. It's at Capital Cosm. It should be released today, where we talk gold, silver, and a few other things. So definitely give him a follow. A great guy who does some really amazing interviews with some really great people that I also listen to a lot. So definitely check it out, guys. Have an amazing day, an amazing weekend wherever you are. Cheers, guys. Bye.